Hey guys, my name is Jay, and this is my Diecast Creations channel. What you're gonna see here is a 70's Plymouth Roadrunner that was built as a Secret Santa gift for Quinn Allen. Actually ended up receiving this car. It started off as a Hot Wheels Plymouth Roadrunner Wastelander series. So in the beginning, I just took it apart and started looking at what I could do with it. I found a machine gun. Ended up finding a roof rack off of Jeep, cheap Chinese Jeep, and the wheels came off of one of those dollar store construction vehicles. And then I had cut up an Erkenstein rod for a previous build, and I still had the little fan that I stuck in the back window there. So in the build process, I kind of mock up things and see what looks good where, and nothing's glued at this point. I just pretty much stuck it on there, and first I jacked it up thinking that I was pretty sold on this idea. It looked pretty good, but as you start to work with it, you see that there's too much of a gap here, and it might look better another way. So I actually broke out the excuse me, I broke out the Dremel with a drum sander on it, and I decided to remount the wheel wells and actually fit the wheels inside the casting, and it turned out better that way, in my opinion. So I didn't want to prime and get rid of the paint job on this car, so I ended up scratching it with sandpaper and keeping the tampos that were on it because it's a 70's Wastelander. I mean, it fits the theme, right? So I started off with the sandpaper. I took a pick tool and scratched into the paint to kind of create scars, And then my next move was Typhus Corrosion by Games Workshop. Basically went ham on that with that, and gave it the texture that it has. Also a rust kind of look. I also went over it with Apple Barrel Brown, a couple shades of that, and then I just started dry brushing. Started with a chestnut brown and went over the chestnut with a light mocha, which gives it that sand effect. I also had removed the interior windshield, whatever you want to call it, and put in a grate. I use the window grate that you would put into your house. I had an extra roll of it laying around, and it just works out, Everybody has their own way of doing things. This is what works for me. So I've actually used it on multiple builds, and I like the look of it. It's to scale, and it just works for me. It gives it that aesthetic that I'm looking for. So multiple layers of the weathering with the dry brushing basically gives it the look that it's got here. You can see where the Typhus Corrosion gives it a texture. It kind of looks like dirt that was built up, and then hitting it with the light mocha, it really picks up on all those raised areas, and it makes it look like this thing's been running through the desert, and that's what it was meant to be. So I mean, some might say, oh well, the wheels wouldn't clear and blah 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 blah, but what are you gonna do? This is a Hot Wheels car that I modified. So it's also a wasteland car for Gaslands. So the imagination could just run crazy, right? You can do whatever you want. And it's really why I love doing these builds, because there's no restrictions. I'm not stuck in a box of, oh, you got to do this or you got to do that. So that's why I really come to love this hobby. These are basically just, roundabout pictures, different angles. At this point, the car is not finished. I was waiting for a good day. I use Rust-Oleum matte clear coat acrylic, whatever it's called. And you know, you got to wait for a day where the humidity is down. So came a good day, the sun was out. I went out and sprayed it with 2 or 3 coats, I think, and this is what it ends up looking like when it's all said and done. It gives it kind of, it knocks the dull paint look down, gives it a little bit of shine, but not enough to say, oh, that's, you know, showroom material. Because that's not what we're looking for. We want to protect the paint, give it a nice finish, but still keep it with that, you know, grimy, gritty look. And it's a rattle can, but it's what I find works best for me. You know, some people use automotive lacquer and, you know, different kinds of clear coat, and there's nothing wrong with that as long as you get the look that you're looking for. And it's what you're looking for, then that's what matters, right? You can really see where taking the pick tool to the side of the car and really gouging into the paint gives it the scar look, you know. It looks like it's been through some battles, you know, maybe hit a couple roadblocks or barrels that bounced up, or maybe a plow ran into the side of the thing, you know. I didn't go crazy with a hammer to it or anything like that, because at the end of the day, this was a 4-hour build. A build cap, I should say. It was only supposed to be built in 4 hours. I think I ended up going over probably a half hour, 45 minutes, just because I care and I wanted someone to get something quality, you know. Big shout out to Matt Reeve for putting this thing together over there on the Gaslands UK page. Those guys are great. And there's not much else to say, you know. I basically went through my process with this, and it works. You know, that's the biggest thing. When you start doing anything as a hobby, you got to come up with a process and stick to it once you figure it out. When you start veering off too much, and it's okay to try different things, obviously. I've only been doing this for a year or so I'm still in the learning process, but I figured out something that works for me, and I like the look of it, and, you know, this is where I'm at. So this is where we started. 70's Wastelander, Plymouth Roadrunner. The front wheels were a little bent up, and, you know, it wasn't a bad looking car, but it had some play wear, and it called out to me that this was the car for the Secret Santa build. So this is the package I ended up sending to Quinn, and I hope he enjoyed the other cars that came with it. And I hope you guys enjoyed watching these pictures of how this thing came together. I am a new channel. I don't have subscribers, so if you want to subscribe and see more, there will be more coming. Thanks a lot, guys.